At one point in this interview, we see that his mind control programming breaks down.
What about self-determination for Tibetans?
If you sat around a table and you said, right, what we need to do is we need to find some way of getting young people to see the world the way we want them to see it, so that by the time they become adults, they are completely following the reality we want them to believe in. Someone might say, well, they might not have it like, but you know the ideal thing? What we do is we have a system where we take children away from their parents at least 5 days a week, all day, from about the age of 4 and 5, and we have control of their minds until they're about 17, 18. That would be ideal. Well, of course, that's what happens. It's called the education system. Yes. And it's indoctrination.
First met her, I thought she was really cool.
Untouchable walls got the better of him.
Randomly chose where to stand.
So it was like that first one saying,
Tough Stuff with Force Flex puts rubbish away for life.
So NetBank Saver is a
CSI's darkest deed.
If you can pull more calories out of your body than
Cross the tape. Last 2 weeks ago.
Not news.
It's one of the great Australian legends. The life and mysterious death of intriguing new information has come to light at auction last night.
This is a test of the emergency broadcast system.
Everything is in place for a world governmental structure. We have a global body that is growing.
There is an organized effort in our schools today to indoctrinate our children in internationalism.
Psychiatric medications to control their thoughts, their behaviors, and to impede their emotional development.
We have a situation whereby a global tax is imminent, the global army is operational, and a global currency is right around the corner.
There's an organized effort within education to destroy the belief in absolutes in our children and to destroy a belief in God. The purpose of education in America today is not education. It is indoctrination in internationalism, in collectivism, and in atheism, and they're doing a wonderful job.
When freedom is lost, it is lost forever.
They have to destroy the United States Constitution and our way of life. And they've got to do so in such a way that will actually embrace it.
Whether it is on sustainable development, the rights of women, peacekeeping, human rights, disarmament.
We are losing the right to make our own determinations about what we think, what we eat, how we protect our health, how we protect our children.
The United Nations agenda is very vast and very broad and very huge. No longer are they just concerned with peacekeeping. They literally have branched out into every area of government.
The purpose of education in America today is not education. It is indoctrination in internationalism, in collectivism, and in atheism, and they're doing a wonderful job.
Why are we beginning to tread on our constitutional rights?
You think the purpose of education is reading, writing, and arithmetic? The purpose of education is to change the thoughts, actions, and feelings of students.
In education, for example, No Child Left Behind.
nobody can be said to be a loser. Well, of course, if there's no losers, then there's no winners.
Hitler wanted to control the education system in Germany. Stalin did in Russia, Mao Zedong in China. You have to get a hold of the minds of the young, where you break the person's values. You break their understanding of their individuality. You bring them to consensus with the group. They become a member of the collective.
Of this ruling elite that wants to try to homogenize our education system, when he was quoted as saying, "I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers."
It's Soviet education, basically. Might as well say it. It's Soviet education. There's no right and no wrong anymore. You make up your own mind. Sidney Simon's book, the values clarification, decision-making, role-playing, these are all psychological techniques.
Global social system that they can control the central authority. In other words,
he said we've got to train the teachers, retrain them. This is Brock Chisholm, the Canadian psychiatrist, friend of Alger Hiss. Retrain the teachers as little psychiatrists.
So I think the education system is not only pushing people into a socialized version of government, but also dumbing the individual down to the point to where he'll be a good worker in the factory, or he'll be a good worker in Silicon Valley. He may know a lot about computers, but he is not going to have a classic education that would allow him to take all of the facets of the culture and the society and put it together and really form an intelligent opinion as to what's really going on and what might be in the best interest of the individual.
You cannot expect to have a smoothly running world social system if you have people out there who are going to object to what you're trying to do. So you have to brainwash.
World control, world domination, one of the oldest desires in the history of the world.
We have seen their kind before. They are the heirs of all the murderous ideologies of the 20th century. By sacrificing human life to serve their radical visions, by abandoning every value except the will to power, they follow in the path of fascism, Nazism, and totalitarianism. And they will follow that path all the way to where it ends, in history's unmarked grave of discarded lies.
This is a test of the emergency broadcast system.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street. There's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.